Attention, duelists! If you could all stop staring at my hair for a moment.
We are back with another video. What is going on, guys? And today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to discuss a new archetype that was just dropped overnight that's coming out in Age of Overlord. Some of the implications, what it could mean for the meta, but also what it could mean partnering up with the Dark Magician. Let's get into this. Alright, if you guys are new here, make sure to hit a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the page as we get closer to 300 subscribers and announcing that 300 subscriber opening. Also, make sure to leave the hashtag #ADKZoo in the 200 subscriber opening to get a chance to win that Fusion Destiny Ultimate Rare from OTS 18. Guys, the new archetype that just dropped overnight that's going to be coming out in Age of Overlord. This thing looks badass. I'm very interested in not only just running this deck in general, but what it could mean for the Dark Magician deck. Because right now, true, it's a Dark Magician deck, at least the one that I have. We run Red Eyes Fusion, but until we get a Dark Magician type Red Eyes Fusion or Ultimate Fusion, just what we got to run with. But I'm interested in this engine and what it could mean for the Dark Magician deck. Now, the archetype is Diabellestarr, roughly translated Diabellestarr, the Dark Witch. Now, this is most likely just the one monster that's going to be within this archetype. Again, it's the only monster that they've announced so far. I'm imagining as we get closer to Age of Overlord debuting, and actually when it comes out in the OCG, we'll know for fact if there's going to be other Diabellestarr monsters out there. But she looks like a freaking badass. This card looks so cool, and this is a nice little engine. Here's the interesting thing, and this is why I brought it up about the Dark Magician. It's a level 7 Dark Spellcaster, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. It's got Dark Magician stats like right through. So this is really interesting. Maybe some implications here. Like I said, if there's some support out there, it could be a standalone. Obviously, I think that's what we're going to be seeing here. It could be the next big archetype that they bring out. But in general, it could work really well with Dark Magician. So we're going to run you through what the cards do, and then we're going to run you through a test hand just to kind of show what it may be able to do with the Dark Magician. So, like I said, DM stats, you can only special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only use the second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. One, you can special summon this card from your hand by sending one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard. We'll talk about how that could be really helpful in the Dark Magician deck, but great that you can discard one, boom, it comes out on the field. It's a level 7. Number 2, if this card is normal or special summon, you can set one Tainted Treasure spell or trap directly from your deck. Tainted Treasure is the type of spell or trap that goes along with this. And then 3, if this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard during your opponent's turn, you can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. So you get it right back. This could be huge. Next is the spell, the Tainted Treasure Hunter Fiend, and it's a quick play spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Add one Diabellestarr monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. This is a 3 of, right here. You run 3 of the Dark Witch and 3 of this. That's your searcher right there. So it gets you to your Dark Witch. That's massive. Number 2 effect is during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of your Tainted Treasure spell or traps that's banished or in your graveyard and place it on the bottom of your deck. Then you draw a card. So you get to banish to draw. That's always a great thing. And yeah, it's really helpful that you can target one of those and just shuffle it right back in and get a card back. Moving on to what I consider is probably the best of all 3. This is pretty nasty. It's Tainted Treasure of Doom Lucilia, and it's a quick play spell card. You can activate one card with this card's name once per turn. You can activate one card with this card's name per turn. 1. Target one level 7 or higher spellcaster, hello, you control. Apply these effects in sequence. That face-up monster is unaffected by other monsters' effects this turn, but send it to the graveyard during the standby phase of your next turn. Here's the nasty effect. All face-up monsters your opponent currently controls lose attack equal to that monster's attack. Then, if any of those monsters' attack has been reduced to 0 as a result, destroy it. Whew. That's nasty. That is really nasty. Yeah, that's pretty filthy. So the first effect, again, that face-up monster is unaffected, but send it to the graveyard. So again, it is the send. So I mean, you could use it on Dragoon if you power it up, but you're still going to have to send it because it's not necessarily destroying Dragoon. But we'll get more into the DM implications next. And then finally, the trap card. It's just a normal trap. It's called Tainted Treasure of Betrayal, Sylvia. A normal trap, you can only use one of the first and second effect of this card's name per turn, and only once that turn. One, you can either send a Diabellestarr monster from your hand or face up to the field to the graveyard, then target a face-up card on the field, negate its effects. And then two, when your opponent activates a card or effect in response to the activation of your Diabellestarr monster effect or a Tainted Treasure spell or trap, you can banish this card from your graveyard and negate. So you can banish this from your graveyard and basically negate any kind of response made to your Diabellestarr or Tainted Treasure spell or trap. So a lot of good stuff here as we get into this upcoming set, this next, not the next core set, it's the one that's going to be coming out in October. All right, so fast forward here, we're in Dueling Book, and we're going to try to test this out a little bit as we have an opening hand here. And this would be an optimal hand. Obviously, you've got Soul Servant, which is really nice. But the nice thing about Soul Servant is if you need to top deck something and you've got some action in your graveyard, it helps if you really need to get to something. Obviously, this can be used. Normally, if I use this, I'll use it on like Timaeus so that I can basically just top deck it, draw it, special summon it, boom, it's done. And you normally send out Rod, something that mentions Dark Magician in order to get that Timaeus out. But with Diabellestarr, the Dark Witch, all we need to do is discard one card, but we can also fire off the Soul Servant from the graveyard, which is nice. So again, we start off with this opening hand, and it's pretty freaking nasty. So we start off and let's activate. We'll activate Magician Souls in the hand. And then we'll go into the deck, and then we'll open this up, and we'll send Dark Magician to the graveyard, and then we will go ahead and send Magician Souls to the graveyard, and then we'll special summon the Dark Magician in attack position to our field. So Dark Magician gets special summoned with Magician Souls. Now we've got Diabellestarr, the Dark Witch, also a level 7 Dark monster. We can then send Soul Servant to the graveyard, and we can special summon Dark Witch in attack position. So right now she's basically got Dark Magician stats minus the 100 off the defense, but now we've got both of these since she's special summoned. Now that she's special summoned, you can set a Tainted Treasure spell or trap from the deck, and we can go into the deck and we can grab the Tainted Treasure Hunter Fiend, which is the quick play. And again, if we do end up getting more Diabellestarr monsters, this will be a great searcher. I mean, we can add a monster from our deck to our hand, or during the main phase, you can banish this from the graveyard and target Tainted Treasure spell trap that's banished or in the graveyard, and place it on the bottom of the deck and draw a card. So in this case, I would go ahead and probably add this to the spell and trap zones, set this face down, and then we could go ahead and if we wanted to, we could fire off the Tainted Treasure of Doom, target a level 7 or higher spellcaster, and it could be unaffected since we don't have Soul Servant out there. We can attach it to the Dark Magician, or we can attach it to the Tainted Treasure of Doom. But either way, it's going to gain that effect. It's going to zap all their monsters' attacks down to 0. Possibly if it's under if it's 2,500 or under. But either way, if you just take away most of their attack, it's pretty freaking filthy. So we can even set this. We haven't even normal summoned yet, so we can normal summon Rod in attack position, go into the deck, and then we can pull out a number of things. We can go in there and grab Magician's Salvation, activate that, go into Eternal Soul, or we could grab another Soul Servant if we really want it, Dark Magical Circle. But either way, we are going to get, if we want the draw power, you know, if we want the draw power, we can banish this, and we've got a Dark Magician on the field, so we get the extra draw out of it, draw into Saravis. Now we've got a hand trap in hand, and then what you can do is you can overlay Dark Witch onto Dark Magician as an option, and I may go into Red Eye's Flare Metal Dragon and overlay on top of those two. Flare Metal Dragon comes out, and now, yeah, it's pretty freaking filthy. So we got a nice solid opening board here, and again, you got the hand trap that we just drew into, and then obviously you can send this to the grave, you can send Rod to the grave, and link away, obviously, into Artemis, because that's a big brain move right there. And just like that, we are kind of covered here. And again, this is a dragon monster, so if you wanted to fire off these, you'd want to make sure that you have, you want to make sure that you've got a level 7 spellcaster or higher. You can activate the card effect, but you would want to make sure if you're going to overlay this that you at least got Red Eye's Black Dragon in the graveyard, obviously, because then you can detach, and that you can detach the Dark Magician. And like I said, if we've got Salvation, Eternal Soul, we can bring the Dark Magician back, and then you can fire off that Tainted Treasure of Doom or Lucia, or the Hunter Fiend, but you wouldn't want to overlay before firing these off because you lose your target right here. So again, just an option for the Dark Magician deck. There's a lot of different things you can do with this. Obviously, this is day one, so I'm going to be tooling around with this deck just a little bit. It's an interesting build, and I don't know, I'm excited in general for the Archtype, but I'm also excited to see what it could do with the Dark Magician monsters as well. So I don't know, let me know your thoughts in the comment section if you think there's another kind of deck that it would go well with. What you see from the deck. We're going to be getting closer to Age of Overlord coming out in the OCG, so we'll know soon if there's more monsters that are going to go with this archetype. So I'm pretty stoked for it. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the page. Talk to you guys soon. Till then.
Deuces. Penguins.